Wonderful. It's a great day. I don't know what. Just got good mojo today.
Yeah. Let's talk about Juwan and just how far he's come.
Juwan, you know, the thing we really challenged him with is to be consistent. And I think he has. I mean, I think he's become more consistent. He is out there every day practicing, gets lots of reps, working hard, and so he's improved himself physically. He's in much better physical condition maybe than what I thought for sure in the spring. I don't know, I guess in the past too. So I think he's grown a lot, more confident, talks more, communicates better. So still has some things we want him to get better at, so we're still pushing him along. You know, he can still be a better player than he is, but he's made a lot of progress.
More consistent in what way?
Just his consistent in how he plays at the level he plays during the games, consistent in how he practices, consistent in how he's in meetings, so all that. Because it's all a process. If you're bad at meetings, you're not going to be good in practice. If you're not good in practice, you're not going to be good in the game. So it starts with learning in the meetings, growing in the meetings. He's doing a really good job there, and then take it to the practice field. How do you practice? When you practice, when you have a good week of practice, you usually watch a guy have a pretty good week on a game on Saturday. If they have an average practice, if they have a couple bad days, a couple good days, that's what you'll see on Saturday. So we've challenged him to be consistent day in and day out in all areas of football, and I think he's doing that.
And it looked like you guys really improved in pass pro this last game. There was clean pockets. Has communication unlocked some of that progress, or is there more to it than that?
Oh, I think that's always the key. You know, I mean, I think it's been pretty solid. I mean, just overall, I mean, if you look at the sacks, I mean, there was one sack, but that you wouldn't say that was on the offensive line, and there's, I think, been 4 that you wouldn't say are on the offensive line, so you take those out of there. I mean, you're talking about 3 in 5 games is pretty good. You know, we're trying to improve that area. We've simplified our protections, and our guys are getting real comfortable with them, and the communication of that, because we're, you know, the offensive line tries to set that Caesar. We'll try to call the protections, but Ben's his right-hand man. Him and Ben are looking at things. We have the tackles involved in that, and the quarterback's involved in that. So it's a group effort, you know. Give the quarterback the time to look through his progressions, and when you see that he's doing that now, the quarterback's having some time to go through his progressions, and we're getting some hits down the field on those. I think it's just consistency in their technique, you know, and then understanding the protections and then not changing them on them, you know.
So you've kept them pretty similar.
We've been very consistent on how we're doing it. I'm real pleased with our balance, you know. Right now, offensively, I think there's 3 yards difference between our rush yards and our passing yards. So when you look at your stats, I mean, here it is. It's rushing yards 1,028, passing yards 1,031. So I would call that balance. I mean, what's the odds of being a 0.5 percentage point off in, you know, the 2 areas? So averaging over 200 yards a game in both of those. So that bodes well. And still, you know, there's opportunities, as everybody can see, that we've left some yards and points off, you know, on the field that we didn't really capitalize on some at times. So try not to do that this week, you know.
Where's the area that this line has improved the most since the fall?
Just I think they're a group. I think they are very much more confident. I think they believe in what's going on, and just consistency, you know, consistency. And I think those things are so important. Like I said, how you practice. Because I'm always about, it's not about who we're playing, it's about us. It's about how do we prepare? How do we learn and study our opponent? How do we practice? And then how do we finish up the week on Friday and Saturday, the things we do, the walkthroughs and things that we do to finish off the week, but just the preparation and the consistency of that and so forth. And, you know, the group stayed together, they've stayed healthy, they've all practiced. And so I don't know what the biggest improvement is. I mean, I'm really pleased. I mean, we have 1 holding call in 5 games. We have 2 illegal procedure penalties in 5 games, so I would challenge anyone to say who has less penalties on their offensive line in 5 games. We have 3. That's pretty good. You know, our negative yardage plays are down, our sacks are way down, you know, so those things show you that, you know, good things are happening, that you're making progress, you know.
You've been doing this a long time with a lot of different offensive lines. What's the biggest hurdle between taking one that maybe a line that's maybe not where it could be yet and getting it to that point? You know what I'm saying? What's the biggest, you know, mountain you got to climb to get them really clicking and moving forward?
Number one, how hard can I push them? Because you got to push people and make them uncomfortable. You got to make them do stuff they really don't want to do. That comes with trust. So they have to trust that what you're doing and what you're telling them will make them better and help them be a better player and help our team be a better team. So you develop trust, then you push them to challenge them to do more than they've done in the past, do it better than they've done it in the past, and you hold people accountable. Never let a rep go by where a guy does something that's not correct, either effort-wise or not correct assignment-wise, and let it go. Because the minute you let something go, you just reinforced it's okay. Well, I did that yesterday and he didn't say anything, so it must be okay. No, so they don't ever have a playoff. They don't ever get a playoff in practice where somebody isn't coaching them or we're evaluating them or making sure that if you see it live in practice, it gets addressed, and then it definitely gets addressed when we watch video. But there's no, oh, I'm not going to say anything to Ben about doing that. I'm not going to say anything to Caesar about that. No. Everything's addressed. Everything, if it's not a championship level play in practice or in games, it gets addressed in a positive way to help them get better, to understand what the standard is. The standard is we're trying to win every game and we're trying to be at a championship level to compete for the Big Ten title. So that's how we coach them. So it's not about who we're playing against. It's about how they're performing. And that just, to get kids to do that, they have to see themselves getting better. The most inspirational thing as a player is when you improve. You can say what you want. The scoreboard talks about the team and the program. The individual playing well and getting better is what really resonates. Because we all, I mean, I have kids. I've coached lots of kids. I had a great game. I know, but you guys lost by 2 touchdowns. I know, but I had a great game. That's all that in today's society that resonates with kids is, how did I play? Am I getting better? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? And they are connected to the team and the program. I don't mean that, but you know what I'm saying, deep down in their heart. So, you know. But anyway, so I think, you know, we're just challenging them to continue to grow and get better, and I think they trust me and I trust them. I think we have fun together. I think we work hard together. I think they know that if they show up not ready to work, it's going to be an uncomfortable day. If they show up and do what they're supposed to do, then it'll be a really joyous day of everybody working hard. So they get to decide that, because I'm not changing. So, because I can't let them have days off. I can't let them not practice well. I can't lower the expectations, or we won't be what we need to be. But that's success in any profession, corporate, sales, medical, whatever it is. You got to be challenged every day to be at your best, or you'll take days off, take practices off, you know what I mean? And then that shows up in the bottom line, so we don't let that happen.
Did you get any pushback early on? This mindset you were talking about, did you get any pushback from the guys just because you're new to the program, new philosophy?
Oh, not really. I didn't feel that. But I just think that until something you tell them shows on film where they can see themselves doing that against our team or against somebody else, that's when it really becomes reinforced. Like, wow, I haven't given up a sack this year. These pass protection drills, because we didn't do these drills last year, or I never did these before. Like, wow. Well, you know what I mean? So things like that, that's where trust is developed, you know what I mean? You know, that's where what we're asking them to do, you know, is reinforced by, does it work for them when it counts? I think that's been really good, you know? And they're a great group of guys. Like, everybody wants to be good. Everybody wants to be the best. But not everybody knows how to get there, and that's my job, is to help them go where they can't take themselves. I always say 2 things as a coach that I'm responsible for. Take a player where he can't take himself, and make the complicated seem simple. And if I do those two things, I've done my job and we'll be better. So, because it is complicated playing offensive line, it's very complicated, but somehow you have to present it and teach it in a progression that makes it simple in their mind so they can play fast and have confidence. And somehow you have to make someone uncomfortable enough to work hard, to go beyond, to strain, to do extra that'll end up making them better. So those are the two things I think are the primary role of a coach, other than whatever the head coach wants, I do as hard as I can do, you know? That's my role as an assistant to him, is what does he want? How does he see this thing going? And how do I do that to the best of my ability? But to the players, those are the two things I do for the players.
Mike,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Oh, no. No, you go first.
Michael, when he was a big guy, how's he doing when you're asking him to pull, and how much can he improve in that area?
He's improved a lot in that. I mean, you know, obviously that's a big man pulling, and he's done pretty well. I mean, there was a play in the game on Saturday where we asked him to pull, and the defensive end just shot 7 yards in the backfield, and I don't know if we have anybody on the team that would have got that guy blocked. So that wasn't the reaction that we thought we would get from that defensive end. But, you know, we got him a few plays later. So, you know what I'm saying? You play off what they're doing. So, anyhow, but as far as his pulling, he's improved at that a lot. As I always tell Mike, I mean, his deal is footwork and using his hands. When he has great footwork and he uses his hands, he can be dominant. And that's where we're trying to get him to grow. That's where I'm on him every day about his footwork. If he uses, his first two steps are good. When that body gets moving in the right direction, look out. And when he uses his hands legally, look out. Those are two things that can make him a dominant player. So that's what we coach him on. But Mike's grown a lot. I mean, and his pass protection's really gotten better. I mean, everybody, even inside the program, has noticed that when he goes one-on-ones with our best defensive guys, he's solid, you know. So it's been good there. But Mike's one of those guys who's improved a lot, and it's all because of how he practices.
Last question, Angelique. I just want to understand simplified a little bit more. I mean, the guys have been talking about it since you got here, and you're saying, you know, offensive line is complicated. In your mind, what does simplified mean? It's the scheme's not simpler.
Well, just how you present it, you know. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen on every play, and nobody knows before the play starts what of those are going to happen. And realistically, I know there's 6 things that could happen. If I give all 6 of those scenarios to a player, then he won't play very fast. So I have to simplify down what are the 2 most likely things to happen on this play in this situation. And it's A or B, and react to one of those 2. And then if he's right 80% of the time, we win. Because if we grade O-line grades out at 80%, we're going to win. You know what I mean? Offensively, or win the play or win the day. Does that make sense? But if I give him 5 or 6 things that could happen, and now he grades out at 50% because he's worried about too much and thinking about too much, then the play slows down, the reaction slowed down, and you start chasing ghosts, so to speak. So
It starts with you recognizing.
So it becomes incumbent on me. What are the 2 most important things on this play that you need to do? It's A, and if it's not A, you're reacting to B, and anything else that happens, we'll live with the result and play the next play.
You have to live with the results.
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. So yeah, so there's no heartburn. The kid doesn't feel discomfort if something else happens that we haven't really worked on. That's on me, right? So but I mean, that's where you have to say what's realistic in these situations, you know, for a player. I mean, what do they do? What are the tendencies of that team? I mean, anybody could do anything. I mean, they could come in and not play any defense that they played. I've coached on teams where you played a game and you didn't run anything you ran the last 2 weeks. I've done that before, especially coming off a bye week, you know. I mean, you can do that. Do we chase ghosts, or do we say, this is what they are, this is what they've done, this is what we're going to be ready for? So it's preparation up until kickoff, and then once the kickoff starts, it's adjustment. Who adjusts the best once the ball's kicked off? Who prepares the best prior to the kickoff, right? So if they're doing something different, then sometimes you get stalled early in the game and you sit your guys down and say, listen, we worked on this and this. They're not doing that now. They're doing this and this. Boom, let's go attack that. There's your adjustments. Boom. You know what I mean? So
maybe you saw some different things from Northwestern last week early?
No, I didn't mean necessarily them, but I just mean in general, that's just how I see the game. You know what I mean? That's how I envision it. Because the more you put in there, the slower they play. And so, and the less confident they are. Oh, what if he does that? You know? And you get that question a lot. So I love to tell them, don't worry about that. That's on me. You worry about this stuff. You know what I mean? And that's my job. And then, like you said, make adjustments. And if something happens that we're not prepared for, it's nobody's getting yelled at. There's no stress. It's just, hey, this is the answer. We have tools in our toolbox to fix all problems. But you can only have 2 tools in your hands at once. One in this hand and one in that hand. Here we go. You can't have more than that. So we need a new tool. We get the new tool out next series. Here we go. So we always talk about what's in our toolbox. We've faced all these different defenses. We prepared for all this. This is what we think we're going to do. We're going in with this and this. If those don't work, throw them down and we'll get something else and we'll go. But you always want them to be able to play fast, play hard, play confident. And the communication means that we're all on the same page. Maybe we wanted to slide the protection to the right, but the center slid it to the left. But that's okay, because we still have a running back on the other side that is supposed to block somebody that is on scholarship to pick up the blitzer. We would have liked to slid it that way and picked up the blitzer, but if we slide it the wrong way, he's got a job to do too, and that's on his plate. So we do that. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter all the time if every decision they make is right or wrong. As long as they're all connected and they're all on the same page, you'll get everybody blocked. It's not like any play doesn't have people assigned to people. So that part of it works out good too, because now a kid will make a decision and play hard and know that you'll be like, hey, why did you slide the protection that way? I saw this. Hey, I'm telling you, they're doing this. Let's slide it to this guy, or let's slide it. They're giving you a look. Let's, you know, and you just make that adjustment and you go. And players play really well when it's that kind of, you know what I mean? So,
All right.
good. Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you out there.